Good evening, everybody. There was some serious star power on hand at the South Texas Winter Baseball Banquet with one of the first families of baseball there, the Ryans. Now, one of the co-founders of the Hooks and, of course, Hall of Famer Nolan Ryan walking up to the stage to a huge ovation. And he was joined there by his son and Astros president Reid Ryan, along with fellow Hooks founder Don Sanders. Now, we caught up with the Ryans to talk about their venture into minor league ownership that eventually led to the Round Rock Express and then the Corpus Christi Hooks.
We always knew Corpus Christi was a great baseball market, and my brother Reese and I were down here a lot, and we were really the ones that said, hey, we think we could expand here and that this market would support baseball. And after visiting with my dad and Don, they said, yeah, let's do it, and we decided to grow the company from there and brought a couple other players in, and we're able to really expand the brand and grow the game here in South Texas.
When Reid came to me and wanted to do the Express back many years ago, 20 years ago now, and we talked about it, and so I called Don and said, hey, Don, you want to get involved in minor league baseball? And he didn't waver at all. He said, sure.
Now, you heard Nolan mention the man of the night was Don Sanders, who is being honored with the Lifetime Achievement Award. Now, the celebrated Houston businessman says his relationship with the Ryans goes back 40 years and that he was more than willing to go into business with them when Reid came to him with the idea of buying a minor league franchise.
Well, I don't know that I have a relationship that means more to me, that I'm more proud of. Nolan and I and the boys, his family, go back to, believe it or not, 1979. And it's probably as good a relationship as I've ever had or ever will have, and probably as good a relationship as any human being could have.
I couldn't have been able to accomplish where I am today and what we've done as a group without the backing of Don Sanders and my dad. And look, Don's somebody that believed in me when I was a young kid, that I had the passion, the energy, and the business plan to go out and start minor league baseball and really redefine the way that the game is done here in the state of Texas. And so if it hadn't been for Don Sanders, I don't know if I would be where I am today.
So what a night it was overall. Congrats to all of the honorees, including former Moody Trojan and Tampa Bay Rays prospect Mike Franco, who was named the South Texas Pro Athlete of the Year.